What up, guys? Welcome back to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship. It's your girl, Coach K, back with another dope session. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are watching my beautiful face, then make sure you have subscribed to the Upgraded Mindsets Media channel right here on YouTube. If you're listening audio-wise, then make sure you have favorited the Woman's Hustle so you are alerted when all these dope new episodes are coming into play. Make sure you are rating and reviewing. Make sure you are commenting and let us know what you think of each episode. You guys' feedback has been amazing. So thank you so much for that. We're going to get right to it. If you are watching me on YouTube, then you see I have a lovely, lovely guest with me, and I'm going to allow the honors of letting her introduce herself. Hello.
Hi, thanks, Keisha, for having me. I am KC Cohn, and I consider myself a personal brand strategist. And I'm so
Ooh,
excited to be on here today. And
me too.
I'm excited also to tell you a little later about how my business was able to progress through something that just came out of the blue when I stood on my porch one day and looked up to the blue sky, asking for one last chance before I burned my business down. And what came in was a big portrait photography image, and the rest from there just helped launch my
Oh,
business. So I'm
I
excited
love
to tell you
it.
about that.
I love it. I'm excited to hear it. This is what it's all about here at the Woman's Hustle, the epiphanies, the struggles, but the breakthroughs, the triumphs, like all of those things. So I am definitely excited to hear more about that. Please share a little bit more about the backstory and actually what got you to where you are today, Casey.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll take you back to when I was working 9 to 5. My background's in design and architecture as well as psychology, but I was working for a lighting agency at the time and doing well there. And I decided to take on a my own business in color. I wanted to just explore that and decided that I was going to take a business model into a nearby paint store, which happened to be in Washington, D.C., on the Hill on Pennsylvania Avenue, and
Nice.
start a color consulting business there. Like, really just helping people pick colors for their walls, their furnishings, their finishes, and also so I could learn more about color and just be better in the architecture field in general. So it was just a side thing.
Right.
But that side thing really grew so much, and I didn't really see the work that I was doing with the 9 to 5 job that I was working going any further.
Mm.
And I didn't know that I was really going to jump ship on it, but one thing led to another, and I just decided to. So I left a really good, comfortable position and took a chance, moved all my things to DC, lived in a high rise overlooking the Capitol, and um, continued my business in a paint store, helping customers for free in there, and then being able to go into their homes later when they wanted more help.
Right.
So that was my first jump. So as I progress into the story, you're going to see this pattern of me being really comfortable and deciding, I want something different. Let's leave, the comfort, the nest. So that was the first round.
Listen, that I love the story that you're even telling with that because sometimes we get so secure in the 9 to 5 with regards to the financial aspect of things. Um, it's hard for us to say, I want to step out on faith. I want to step out and kind of see where these things can go and leave something that we feel we're secure in. And I use the air quotes because sometimes financial security isn't the real security that we truly need. Yes, we've been programmed to believe that, we want to be financially set, and we do, right? But when you're in that moment of like self discovery and like really trying to figure out what life looks like for you, we can't put the financial side like priority. So I love that you even took that step and stepped out into that journey. How did that end up in turning out for you?
Yeah. So like you were saying, it was really is more about freedom, just
Mhm.
in every aspect, not just money, but life and my schedule and how I want to do things. So I was doing really well, and I was known as kind of the color guru on the hill, and things were going great. Until one day I was sat down with the manager of the store and said, "Oh, hey, by the way, this other woman that's been working in our store has unofficially been doing the same thing that you're doing. And we think there's enough business to go around. So I'm kind of side eyeing it, thinking, is there? But, we're in a big city. Of course, there's got to be a lot of people. So, I mean, what am I going to do? It's their store and their
Right.
employee. And I have the pleasure of being able to run my model out of there. So, we tried it out, and after some weeks and months, my business actually started to decline. So I had the decision, what am I going to do now? Just burn this down here again and go back to, another 9 to 5 job? Or am I going to, dig my heels in and try to make this work? So what I did was I went out to the suburbs and took that same business model out there where they didn't have anything like that.
Right.
And that took off. So I kept the position in DC, in the city, the original one. And then I went out to the suburbs, and that was going so well that their sister store said, "Oh, Casey, we'd like you to come over to this store and help us out here." And then another paint store heard about me, and then another one. And I'm like, wait a second. So it's so funny, Keisha, because I mean, it was just exploding. And I swear that I woke up one morning a couple years later to having hired 6 color consultants and trained them to work in each of 6 stores. And we had hit 6 figures. So that's like 666,
Oh my
but the
god.
great kind.
Right, right, right.
The other one. And it was just going so well. And we just couldn't believe it. Another gal and myself that, were there in the beginning, to how far it grown. So you just never know how things are going to go. But when you're having a good time and you're really helping people and you're good at what you do, it can really, take off. And when you're open to,
Absolutely.
exploring and expanding. So
Absolutely.
that was kind of the next phase before I decided to jump ship on what was going really well there after hitting 6 figures. So
Yeah. I love that. Like you sound so visionary, right? Like
that's me.
who would think that you would be able to create that form? And not only did you start it, but that conversation that you had with the manager could have been a deterrence for you to be like, "Oh, I'm done. I quit. I give up." But you were like, "No." You got in growth mode, you got in mindset shift mode, and you're like, "Hey, let's go find where this is in at." I love that. I think that that's so original, to be able to just step out and do that, but also build that. But it sounds like that you were ready to, as you said, jump ship.
It
And
was, yeah.
I kind of feel like this is where you may be at now, as far as the journey that you walk now, but you jump ship to step into this journey. Tell us a little bit about it.
It did lead to that. So I was, as you can imagine, having 6 stores and 6 color consultants and hitting 6 figures. I was wanting to kind of take a break for a bit and just treat myself to a little, weekend away. And I went away, and the things just started happening in my business while I was away. Of course, it can't happen while I'm there. Um, and it wasn't actually the first time, but like, one of the color consultants had called in sick, but she didn't call the right people, so the store was waiting on someone. Customers were waiting on someone. They tried to call me, but I was way out of the area. That's how far away I decided to go that weekend.
No, that's right.
Yeah, and I unfortunately didn't hear about it until later, but it was just a lot of challenges that I was dealing with in the business. And when I had gone away that weekend, I also was driving through the mountains to get there outside of the city. And the instant I hit these mountains, so Keisha, imagine, I don't know if maybe you've been to the Shenandoah Mountains, so you're not too far from
Nope, I
there.
haven't. I haven't.
Okay. So they're so beautiful. And when you're driving from DC to the Shenandoah Mountains, you see nothing but green rolling hills that you never expect when you're coming outside of a city. Just so beautiful. You see layers of blue mountains in front of you. And you can't imagine that you're driving through here, or you think that you're just going to look over this green hillside and see the Von Trapp family kids from The Sound of Music and Julie Andrews singing, The Hills Are Alive or something. It's that beautiful, and it's instant peace. Yeah, that when I finally did return to the city, I could feel that frenetic energy, and you can feel the energy of the people and driving, and all of the parents are trying to get their kids to their soccer games and their schools, and the parents are off working their jobs, and it's just such a huge difference. And I just thought, I think I'm done with this for right now. So I jumped ship on my very successful color consulting business, and decided I would just do it on my own. And I let each of the color consultants stay in the store that they wanted to, run their own business or however they wanted to do
Right,
it. And I decided to move 2 hours away and just let my business fend for itself. Whereas if someone wanted my services, I would drive the 2 hours, to go and help them. But I
right.
pretty much hunkered down and tried to figure out like my passion and purpose in all this. And that's what I was doing, and just was going through that, whole phase of trying to figure out, okay, what is next? Because it wasn't that. I loved what I was doing with color consulting, but I really felt like there was something else.
Love that. I love that. You said 2 words that I really identify with and I talk about all the time, and that is passion and purpose. Because a lot of times we don't, and especially as women, we will not operate in those because we're defaulted to show up for everybody else. We're defaulted to prioritize things outside of us. And some of us don't even know what that passion and purpose is. Me being one, it took me 5 years ago to finally realize what I wanted to be and do in life.
Mm.
Um, but be going beyond the just living day to day. So tell us what it is that you do now. What did our passion and our purpose discovery lead us to?
Yeah, so I was trying a lot of different things, but they all dipped into branding and helping women and entrepreneurship and everything. Because in the middle of all this,
You
my
were doing
mom
that already.
yeah, that's what I'm doing now. But it was just sort of testing out different things and kind of picking and choosing what I did and didn't want to do. But something really solidified it. And it was when my mom passed away in the middle of all of this. And, it was sudden. And the sad thing about it was, I mean, she was almost 81. It's to be expected that that's an age you're going to, pass away at. She also had just gotten to her dream destination of this living facility that she had been, waiting to go to, but didn't think she could. The wait list was supposed to be a year long, but when she applied, she was able to get in 2 weeks later. And not just 2 weeks later, but she got into a room that was right next door to her best friend of 50 years who'd already been there for a few years. And so it was going to be this big,
Reunion,
reunification.
yeah.
But she was only there for 10 days and she collapsed and passed away, and I could not get there soon enough. So, I was really devastated with that and just really upset and felt like it wasn't fair, that she only had that amount of time to live out her dream. And, I found out also that there was another dream that she had had, that she wanted to be an interior designer. And she never did that. She was always really good with picking out clothes and things for people, but she never did that. And all of that just sort of sat with me. And I felt really, really devastated that, it made me not want other people to go through that, and thinking that, well, what if my mom had someone like myself who now, I help other, women entrepreneurs get through some of this paralysis and what I call the messy middle of,
Uh-huh.
not feeling enough, or they, their business might be going well, but they're kind of scared to get to that next level, or they might get help from a business strategist and get some really good tools, but they're scared to put them out there, or it feels so good. They just feel, like they have imposter syndrome or something like that. And they're really needing someone to hold them. So what I'm able to do is help them with their identity and who they are, and uncover, like, this is part of when we talked about the ebb and flow in the beginning. The very first step is an epiphany. So I'm helping them unlock a block. It's like this subconscious stuff that happens in the
Yes.
back of the head and the brain that we don't realize is there, stopping us at every turn, no matter how good we are, no matter how much we say,
I'm
hey, I'm going to win
telling you.
today and all this is going to change. So I started doing that, and was helping women entrepreneurs, but wasn't really getting to the place I wanted to with that. So that was the moment that I stepped outside. I was staying in a log home at the time. And I stepped outside because I was like, I want to be able to make more money. I want to be able to reach more people. It's not happening. I thought that I had hired all these mentors to help me with my passion and purpose. I had tried all these things. I
Right.
thought that I was, doing the right thing, helping women, so they didn't have to go through what my mom did, 40 years later.
Yeah.
And I just decided to go outside and look up at the blue sky and just, make a plea one last time. Like, I know I've looked at everything that I could be doing in my life, but there's got to be like, what else in my life could I be doing that I'm just not seeing now, I'm not doing now? And instantly, this vision of portrait photography came into picture, into the sky. And I could see like a gilded frame and almost like a brother and sister, posing there. And I thought to myself, Keisha, I'm not going to be a photographer. I mean, my my dad was as a hobby, and we had a dark room in our basement growing up. So I love photography, but I think the universe knew something. I do love portrait photography. Absolutely love it. Love photo shoots, brand photo shoots. That visionary part is like a picture paints a thousand words.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I didn't know where I was going with it, but I was determined to run with it. And within a few days, I saw that that vision of portrait photography was parlaying to my ability to be able to see people, like not dead people, but
No, no, no. I get.
see people. That's another reference.
But say not that one, not that part.
No, no, no. I don't go that far. Bless those who do. But
Facts.
online, I could see people that were putting information out there, putting pictures out there, video, lives, content, and I could instantly see, oh, that's not them. That's not them. And not in a critical way, but in a way that, oh my gosh, I can help you because I have this ability to see things, envision things, and feel what's really going on with them. So if that's how this ebb and flow got developed, because I wanted to be able to mesh photography with the step two that I provide in my ebb and flow method. For so it's ebb, E was for epiphany, and B is for brand. So I'm taking my clients and figuring out their identity. We go through Pinterest and we look at what we want their life to look like through images there, what we want their business to look like through images there, and then we get into a photo shoot preparation. And this is what I term as the therapeutic photo shoot method.
I love it.
So I know all about them by the time we get to that stage. And by them unblocking things and opening up, they're already manifesting things like crazy. It just becomes really magical. Like, it's more money, more clients, and
Yeah.
more opportunities that happen, but we're able to put together, their brand to the extent that we can create a photo shoot for them that aligns with them, that feels like them. It's not just dressing up, it's not just colors, it's not just a logo, but it's really getting into embodying who they are and creating that safe space for them that they feel like they can really be themselves and be supported.
Ooh, I love that. I love it because we really do have to embrace authenticity within our brand and our business. And I think so many times we have people that they see other people who may be established and, have established their authentic selves, and people try to copy that because they see it may be working for them. So I love that you actually take the emotional side of things and match it to the creative side of things. I think that is awesome. And that is, I think is dope. We is as women entrepreneurs, we will tend to not operate in our authentic selves. But I love that you do, because I do the similar thing. You have to know what the personal clarity is for yourself before you can step into like the business side of things. And sometimes we will try to skip that. We'll try to start businesses, scale businesses when we really don't know what we want personally in life. Our personal clarity is so clogged up and just overwhelmed, and we try to deflect that. So I know that you actually say, hey, we've got to get to that personal emotional side too. We've got to, overcome those mental blocks, because as you're looking through these things, I need you to really pick out what is authentically resonating with you, not what you think I'm going to like. Cause sometimes they'll do that. Like well, I like this. What do you think? No, what do you think? Let's have that conversation. So I think I love that you are helping people like overcome those mental blocks when it comes to that, truly making their brand visionary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and when they're like that, it's less about them having to make such a huge effort to put themselves
Yeah.
out there, and it becomes more of attracting, magnetically attracting people to them. Like, for example, one of my clients who had a business as a business strategist wanted to start a podcast, and she'd unofficially been doing it on the
Mhm.
side, and she had another mentor that told her, well, you can't do that, you're not going to be able to make any money, and just don't do it. But she really wanted to, and we found out a way for her to do it. Between one call that I had with her and another that I had with her, we were figuring out how she could stand out in a crowd, what was going to make her different and unique. And it was a YU exercise that we put her through that's really magical. And
Yes.
I'll note to that in the end too. But she came back and she said, Casey, you're not going to believe this. I started my first podcast, and I don't even know how this guest found me. And she said, I'm already booked out 3 months in advance for guests.
What? Yes.
And again, she said, I do not know how they found me. And these are the hair raising, chills that we're getting all the time. And it's because we're just cracking this open. It's not just another strategy. It's not just another brand. It's when you are really unleashed like that, things
You don't
just
know
fall
what you're
into
gonna
your
catch. Yeah. You don't know what you're gonna catch. There's so many things that's just gonna so many downloads that you're gonna be ready to receive. Some might be a little overwhelming, but it's not a
lap.
bad overwhelm. And I think that that's what makes it amazing. But I
Yeah,
know that you help them like, let's process, how you feeling? Like, we're gonna process this and, make sure I think that that's dope though. You are
exactly.
definitely giving so many breakthroughs. I love that.
Yeah, and that leads us to the final B in the ebb and flow. So the E was the epiphany, the B was the brand. And then the last B is the bridge. So that is the marketing that happens along this journey. While they're picking up their breadcrumbs that just land in front of them, we do also create a strategy for them that's aligned with them. It's not me choosing, what they want to do. It's what resonates with them. Have they always wanted to be on a stage, and share their story? Or do they want to work, behind the scenes, or create funnels, or, work with social media, or do webinars and workshops, whatever it is that they want to do in any moment that they want to do it. So
Right.
things don't have to be set in stone. But by wrapping all of that together, they get all of the support of cracking open who they really are, allowing themselves to be that. We pluck out their identity. They get to be whoever they want to be.
Yeah.
And they're going to show up magnetically and then be able to follow a path to their destination. And, when I check back with my clients several years later, they really have gone uphill and are experiencing things like you wouldn't believe. One client was getting the Woman of the Year award in
Love
her
it.
community, and she had never been known before.
Mhm.
Another was her program was getting piloted in their school system. Yeah, people
Amazing.
were sitting in rooms and at tables that they never thought they'd be in before, where people are making $1 million decisions, and it just was going on from there. And so while I might have started off just kind of putting things together, not really knowing what I was doing, it's those instincts. And that's what I would encourage the listeners to really tap in and follow those instincts. I mean, I might do a little traditional stuff here and there, but at every step, I had to step out and follow what was calling me, even when I couldn't see what was in front of me.
What I want everybody to take away, even when you don't know what's in front of you, you still need to take those steps. We as women, we want to one, I know me, I struggled with control. I used to want to just have control over everything. If I didn't have control, it wasn't right. I wanted to securely know what was going to be happening for me. But when I became a full-time entrepreneur, I realized that that's something that's never going to happen. If I want to continue to pivot, I'm never going to know 100% what's in front of me. But what I do know is I'm going to remain actionable, intentional, purposeful, passionate and make sure that what I'm doing stays aligned with those things, because the moment I feel like it's stressing me to the point where I don't love it anymore, it's time to have a conversation with ourselves. And I will
Mhm.
also encourage listeners to pay attention to that. You can love something so much, just like with you, with your, before you stepped into visionary coaching, you loved what you did, but you were like, I just don't have that anymore. Like, I enjoy it, but it's not that for me anymore. And I really want us to pay attention to that and be very mindful of that. I love that you shared that. Please share with us more details. I love the ebb and flow method, because I think that that's giving the personal discovery, but also the visionary breakthroughs and also the business elevation. I think that all three of those things come along with that ebb and flow method. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's great. When I did it myself, I learned that I had a trifecta of skills that most people don't have, which are the psychology background. So I've got a coaching and counseling type of knowledge about me and
Right.
experience, and then I've got the creative side, and then I'm actually also a fourth generation entrepreneur and, and continue to learn about business even today. So I hold all of those skills, which is what makes me unique and makes the business that I've built
Absolutely.
really, really unique.
Thank you so much for just being so candid and vulnerable and sharing your story and insight, but also your expertise. And as we get ready to head out, for those that may be starting the entrepreneur business, who are maybe in the visionary stage, or those that are on the journey but kind of stuck, what advice would you give them to start the process of aligning themselves with their identity, but also with the business that they vision?
Well, take that first step because if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere. And realize that even the people, those that have made it big, they still have struggles. They have very similar struggles, and self-doubt that happens because as we keep expanding, we're going to hit, those roadblocks, and we always want to figure out a way to get through them and get to the other side. So it's about getting used to challenges. That just because there's a challenge there doesn't mean that you need to stop. You can go through it, grab a mentor or someone that can really help you see things from the outside and allow that to propel you, to the next step. But you have to take the action. Don't wait till tomorrow. Think about, the next time. Just do it. And you can do it messy. It's okay. It's
Yes.
okay. You'll
You
get
should.
there.
Mess is going to be involved, you guys. It's not going to be a straight shot. It's not going to be a clear road. There are going to be bumps, bruises, obstacles, anything. There are going to be those things. So just get yourself into the mindset of understanding that those things are going to happen. But like she said, get someone that's going to help you be accountable, get someone that's going to help you work through those things, because you don't have to do it by yourself, which is also what I want you to know too. You do not have to do these things by yourself. This is why me and KC do what we do. We want to be able to uplift you, empower you, help you elevate to be the best version of yourself. And whatever that looks like for you, I want you to be intentional in making that happen. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Casey, this has been amazing. I want to thank you so much for blessing the woman's hustle with your fabulous conversation. Please let them know where they can find you at on social media.
Right. So, social media, I'm most active on Facebook. You can find me there. My name is spelled KC. The last name is Cohn. Look me up there on Instagram. I am under the House of Vision and also my name, and you can find me on LinkedIn too. But just shoot me a DM if you want, and I can, help guide you or answer any questions that you have, or allow you to, access the YU exercise and really help put yourself out there and stand out amidst a crowded industry.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Listen,
Keisha.
guys, this is what it's about. The Woman's Hustle is more than just us talking about business and branding and things like that, but it's also letting you know that there are so many women out here who have been in the same boat that you in when it comes to maybe feeling like you're stuck, scared to step out, scared to bring your product or service to life. We are here for you. And there's so many others that can relate. But like Casey said, just start. All right. We appreciate you so much for tuning in. Make sure you have subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you are favoriting the podcast on your streaming platform. If you're interested in becoming a guest, the link for inquiries will also be in the podcast show notes. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Stay empowered, baby.